Hello guys, welcome back to another beautiful and exciting episode. Today's video is from Justin Reloaded. Sage Steele Destroys Whoopi Goldberg and The View from running their debates. They rage quit. You guys know what we feel about The View. Whoopi Goldberg, what's the other lady's name? Janine. No, not Janine. Sonny hosting. You guys know what we think about those people on The View, and so this looks like it's going to be interesting. Okay, so do well to watch till the end. Drop a nice comment on what you think about your thoughts about this video. I've not introduced myself. My name is Ogechi and this is Ogechi Reaction. If you are stopping by for the first time, do well to click on the red subscribe button, like this video, watch till the end, and drop a nice comment. And to all my returning subscribers and viewers, you guys are the absolute best. So like this video and drop a nice comment. Let's get straight into the video. Today's video is from Justin Reloaded, like I mentioned earlier. So let's get into it.
They 100% are full of it. They don't want to hear your view if you think differently than they do. And they are fine telling lies on that stage and that set. And because they know that if someone calls them on it, then they're just going to talk over them and have the audience clap and go to break.
Sage Steele recently went on Bill Maher's podcast, and not only did Sage Steele destroy Bill Maher and all of his woke talking points, but she also went in on Whoopi Goldberg and The View and exposed them to their audience. And people like Bill Maher, you know, obviously Bill Maher is trying to sit there and somewhat defend The View, somewhat defend Whoopi Goldberg, but Sage Steele really goes in on Whoopi Goldberg and The View for lying, straight up lying to their audience, being extremely dishonest and hypocritical, as their show is called The View, and they claim that they like to hear other points of view, bring on these fake conservative, you know, token conservative women on the show, just so that they can say that they like all these different viewpoints. But Sage Steele, who has been on The View multiple times, exposes the fact that Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, Sonny Hostin, Barbara Walters, all these weirdos, they don't care about your opinion. They don't want to hear your opinion. They don't want to hear anything that isn't their own. And that's why Sage Steele isn't invited back on The View ever. Let's check out this clip here from Bill Maher and Sage Steele exposing Whoopi Goldberg and The View.
Okay, you guys know how the women on The View, how they act and how they behave when, especially when they get a guest who do not have the same line or thoughts of view about certain things, especially when they're talking about Trump and Christianity and certain very important conversations. The way they shut their guests up and make sure they force their ideas and their views or their opinion on them. Sometimes they can even lie. We all know these things. If you watch their show or their program a lot, you will know this is their usual practice. And Sage Steele has been on their platform before, and I think she's never going to go back there. They're never going to invite her because she went there and I'm sure it didn't go well. So she's here now trying to explain and tell the people that these women have an agenda, right? So let's just get into the video.
View.
Whoopi was very nice to me. Jenny McCarthy. This is Whoopi, Jenny McCarthy, Sherry Shepard, and Barbara Walters. And they were great to me. Barbara, whatever. The other three were great. And what I know for a fact, I did it 4 times, and then they had me audition when they were making changes again. They 100% are full of it. They don't want to hear your view if you think differently than they do.
Absolutely.
And they are fine telling lies on that stage and that set. And because they know that if someone calls them on it, then they're just going to talk over them and have the audience clap and go to break. So the show to me is despicable, and it makes me sad because the potential for 20-some years, I respect the length that they've done it, but the potential is incredible, and they've ruined it.
Is it? What about The View? Like, I feel like statements like that is kind of her trying to seem more reasonable so that her points hit home harder. But let me know in the comments. Maybe I'm just completely jaded on the subject. But number one, I wanted to point out I didn't. Bill Maher is getting visibly upset at the fact that Sage Steele was going in on The View and Whoopi Goldberg as much as she is. Number two, what kind of potential does The View have, or did The View have? Like, they've been going for 20 years or whatever, but what kind of potential did it really have? All it is old women complaining about the world, talking about subjects that they have no idea what they're talking about, bringing on these fake quote-unquote experts just to continue peddling the same exact talking points that The View, Sunny Hostin, Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar all peddle already, but just coming from a quote-unquote expert makes it seem a little bit more credible. Like, what potential did The View have? I don't see a potential there at all. It's all uninformed old women, washed up in their careers, complaining about the world. Get off my lawn type women.
But I think you could handle it.
You know what, though? It's exhausting. Like, do we want to walk into that every day? And I think that, to me, I'm trying.
Yes, because it's like
they don't want me there. They won't even.
I'm telling you,
no,
but
Bill, I worked for ABC. I worked for them for 16 years. They didn't want my view. I was under the same umbrella of Disney. They easily could have called me, especially the last several years
Right.
when these conversations have to take place.
You're so right.
They won't call me. Why?
Right.
Because they know. They know that I'm not afraid. They don't want that.
I mean,
So no, thank you.
If you enjoy content like this, then make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. It really does help me out a ton. Let's get back to the video.
I've had the most amazing run with HBO, and I love them dearly for it.
Yeah.
You know, the show wasn't that good the first year. They stuck with it, things like that. And, you know, I'm not somebody who's ever going to win them an Emmy. I mean, that's just, and we've made our peace with that. But I always, you know, live under the sword of Damocles also. I feel like when you say the things that we're saying, which are ironically...
Also, off topic, is Sage Steele just giant? Or is Bill Maher tiny? Or is this a camera trick? Or what's going on? Because look how much taller Sage Steele looks than Bill Maher. She just looks like an absolute giant next to him. I don't know. Off topic.
Not really always conservative. I mean, maybe you are a little more than I am, but just sort of like commonsensical. And how can you argue with that shit? They don't want to hear it.
They don't.
And
Well, because if you're commonsensical, like I could bring up a couple of names like Joe Rogan or Russell Brand or someone like that who's not a conservative, who've actually been liberals their whole life, and I'm sure Sage Steele also is probably leaning more liberal her entire life, and then coming, you know, through the space and seeing all these opinions from people like Whoopi Goldberg and The View and these weirdos, these wackos, probably even people like Bill Maher, it turned her into someone who is more of a centrist or maybe even right-leaning because the Overton window has shifted so far that, you know, Sage Steele could just be sitting in the same spot and all of a sudden become right-wing. They think that Joe Rogan and people with common sense that exercise their ability to see and perceive common sense, they think they are like alt-righters. They think they're neo-Nazis. They call them all these crazy names, misinformation. Like, imagine saying that someone else, because you know that they would say that about Sage Steele, that she spreads misinformation. They say it about Joe Rogan. They say it about Russell Brand. They say it about everyone who is classically a liberal, but is exercising their ability to perceive common sense. You know that they would say that Sage Steele is spreading misinformation when The View is the king. They're the queens of misinformation. All they do is spread misinformation because they're not informed on anything.
always, I never decorate my office because I always think, I mean, I've been fired once by a network. I always think tomorrow could be the last day. As long as I am going to do what I do. Now, so far it's working, but yes, it could just, but you got to get back on because this is exactly what the country needs. It's like somebody who you can't like say they're a hick or they're dumb or they're, you know, it's like, come on, man. Can you just listen to everybody? Maybe they have a point.
They don't, I don't think, and number one.
Did you say maybe they have a point? Like, they never have a point. They are always misinformed. I don't think these people are even misinformed. They actually know. They just intentionally pass a certain agenda. Most of the time are wrong. Most of the time are rude. Most of the time are insulting. Most of the time are demeaning. You know, these women do it on purpose. I don't know. Are they ever like, what do they even have to say? Anyway, let's just continue.
And thank you, because
Anyway,
that means a lot.
You'll
from
do
you.
real time, please.
I just.
Will you? You'd be great on a real time panel.
Really?
Of course.
You'll have me.
It's yes. You're doing me a favor. I'm always looking. I mean, it's hard to find good panelists for real time. It wasn't for my old show, the politically incorrect show, because you know the whole point of it was let's mix the idiots with people who know things, and it'll be funny.
But and it worked.
You gotta respect Bill Maher too. Like, I think the guy's an absolute idiot, and his takes on politics and Donald Trump. I mean, he's brainwashed completely by the woke cult. You got to give it to him, though. He does bring on a lot of people that have differing viewpoints than him. Like Sage Steele, completely different viewpoints than a lot of things that Bill Maher talks
really
about.
good.
You know,
Yeah.
the fact that Sage Steele goes after The View, that's something Bill Maher would never do. He might call out every once in a while when they say some stupid stuff, but he won't go after the character of The View and say that they don't want people who challenge their beliefs whenever that's what they claim that they love to have. And, you know, this is one of the rare moments that I actually covered before where Sunny Hostin is challenged straight to her face. And what did they do? Exactly what Sage Steele said that The View always does. They called the man a charlatan directly to his face. They talked over him. They wouldn't let him explain his points without bombarding him with questions, having applause come in, having the applause light come on, the audience applaud, and they go to break. That's exactly what Sage Steele said, that Whoopi Goldberg and Sunny Hostin, Joy Behar, they act all nice and like they want to hear your opinions behind the scenes. Then they get on the show, they talk over you whenever you disagree. The applause light comes on, and then they all just go to commercial break. Let's check out this clip here when Sunny Hostin called their guest a charlatan directly to his face simply because he disagreed and laid out his viewpoints very, very clearly and succinctly to them in the audience. And he started winning everyone over, and they said, no, we can't have this. Let's talk over him and have the applause like him on.
Done something special against the Negro for hundreds of years, must now do something special for Negroes. He also said in 1968, it was about less than a week before he was assassinated, this country never stops to realize that they owe a people kept in slavery for 244 years. So rather than class,
If you guys remember the other video I did about Coleman Hughes, who went on The View, and you know they called him a charlatan. I'm still looking for that viral video because that video actually went viral, right? But I did a video where he went on I can't remember. I'll put the link somewhere in the description, you know, where he went, and then, you know, they called him a charlatan, they talked over him. He had 8 minutes on air, you know, they didn't allow him speak, and then when he, you know, it was just messy. It was messy, to be honest. It was just messy. So this is that original video I'm actually looking for. I'm still looking for the video anyway. So if you have the link to that video, please let me see it. I'd love to react to it.
he did write about that earlier on. Right before his death, he made the argument for racial equality and racial reparations. And so your argument for color blindness, I think, is something that the right has co-opted. And so many in the Black community, if I'm being honest with you, because I want to be, believe that you are being used as a pawn by the right and that you're a charlatan of sorts.
He's not a Republican.
So how do you...
He's never voted for a Republican.
You've said that you're a conservative.
No.
No, you did. You actually said that in the podcast that you did 2 weeks ago.
I said I was a conservative.
Yes, you did. So, but my question to you is, how do you respond to those critics?
Okay, let's give it. Let him answer.
You see how they all just start bombarding him. Like there's the little fake conservative girl, I always forget her name, like Alyssa Griffin or something like that. The fake conservative girl is trying to say, he's not a Republican. He's not a Republican. Everybody else is like, I don't care. We're going to keep bombarding this guy with questions. And whenever the time comes for him to respond, we're all just going to talk over him at the same time. Then the audience goes to applause. They go to commercial break, and we never actually get to hear the guy. I mean, in this case, Coleman does respond in a pretty good way, but most of the time we would just go to commercial break and we would never hear the actual response. Like that happened with Dr. Phil. That happens with so many guests that's brought on The View. And it's exactly what Sage Steele was telling Bill Maher. It happens on The View. They don't care about your opinions. You know, they claim that they do. They claim that they want to bring on these experts and have their opinions, their beliefs challenged. They don't. That's the opposite of what they want to do. And that's why they, shun people and blacklist people like Sage Steele from their show. Let me know in the comments what you guys are thinking about what Sage Steele had to tell Bill Maher about The View. I think Sage Steele really exposed The View and exposed things that we basically already knew, but it's good to see somebody from the inside come out and say these things about Whoopi Goldberg and The View. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I hope to see you guys on the next video.
So Sage Steele got on an interview with Bill Maher and she actually, she destroys and she exposes a lot of things that go on The View, which is not new to us. We know how these ladies or these women on The View, how they behave to their guests or how they treat their guests, especially the ones who do not have the same ideologies with them, people that do not agree with them. we remember. I have lots of videos about, you know, how they've, you know, even this Coleman, when he got on the show with them, you know, they bombarded him with questions, you know, said he was a Republican when he said he wasn't a Republican. You know, I feel like it was a good thing that Sage Steele, you know, came up and, you know, was able to expose them, even though she's been blacklisted. So people like Sage Steele have been blacklisted from their show. They are never going to bring up somebody that is not going to agree with them. So if they see that you are a hard nut to crack, they blacklist you, and then you're never getting on their show anymore. So let me know what you guys think about this video in the comment section. Do you think Sage Steele did a good thing for calling them out? And yeah, so drop your comments, like this video, share and subscribe. I'll see you in my next episode. Bye bye.